What's the smallest hill you'll die on? Tall burgers completely nullify all the benefits of burgers, and are an abomination unto cuisine. A good burger is the perfect portable food. It should be edible using only your hands and mouth, without cutlery, and without making too much mess. You should also be able to sample every layer of ingredient in one bite, without dislocating your jaw. Never understood why people went tall with burger creation. If you want a bigger burger, go wider. It would be way easier to eat a delicious beefy coat. This is why I loved Fuddruckers. Their 1-pounders were the size of a friggin' frisbee. It's not a hot water heater. It's a water heater. Edit, it is hilarious how many of you are trying to kill me on this small hill. Not dead yet. Edit number 2, in real life I would never correct someone who says hot water heater when they're talking about their water heater, but it sure has been fun to do it here. Thanks for the awards and the most upvotes I've ever received, and especially thanks for keeping this very important debate fun and civil. This is now a hill I will also die on. Yeah, it's either a water heater, or a water temperature keeper. Definitely not a hot water heater. The parents from Parent Trap are way worse than the parents from Home Alone. Agreed, one of those twins grew up pretty ducked up while the other seems to have disappeared entirely. They are both still around, you just never see them together, that's why. Actual physical push buttons are way better than sensor buttons. Like the Xbox 360 sensor buttons, edit, I have recently been informed that they are called tactile buttons, physical and haptic buttons, sensor, so thanks for the bit of knowledge and the awards. Kind of a similar thing, I'm wanting to get a new car soon, and it drives me nuts that most cars nowadays have touchscreen controls. In my current car, I can change the radio station, turn up the fan, switch to AC all without taking my eyes off the road because it's all knobs and tactile buttons. Get a Mazda. They actually backtracked on touchscreens and went with a fancy knob in the center between the two seats. It's amazing I'll never get a car that has touchscreens as its main interface. This was a major selling point on the CX-5 for me. I thought I'd hate the control knob for the infotainment screen too, but it's actually one of my favorite things about the car. Hacks should be included in the price with no exceptions. Macaroons are not macaron. One has coconut, and one is a sandwich cookie. I remember in high school my entire class argued with me about this. Macaroons are the little coconut things, while macaron are the pastry cookie. I argued with my entire social studies class about this, including my teacher, before finally he said, let's look it up. It's not like I got anything out of being the only person right, but damn does it feel good to prove 30 other people wrong. At least they all know the difference now. Man, I worked in a French bakery selling macaron for a living, and the amount of people outside of work who would argue about it with me. This issue was the complete bane of my existence for years. Every day and every day are different. And not interchangeable. An everyday walk in the park versus I walk in the park every day. I work in it, and for us it's login versus login. As in Jerry forgot his login information. Versus. I was going to log into my laptop but my phone rang. Login is a noun. To log in is a verb. Fight me. Learn how to spell a name before you saddle a kid with it, for duck's sake. Edit, holy shit, this really struck a chord. Most replies I've ever had. Yes, poor duck. They meant Frank though. My old neighbor had a daughter named Ariana. Jaws must not ever be remade, or reconned, or reimagined, or re-anything. Ever. Squeeze the air out of a Ziploc bag before you put the bag in the fridge or freezer. I don't understand why my wife doesn't, and one of these days I'll have a decision to make. Good to know I won't be dying alone on this hill. The three of us then, and I hope they squeeze our body bags before they put them in the morgue. D. Returning a shopping cart is not that hard. It's the least you can do when utilizing a service. Edit, I seem to be blessed with the copious cart returns HEB provides, to add to the list why they are the best grocery store. Also, I do mean to the cart return, not all the way to the store. The true annoyance is the people that exert the effort to hop the curb and put it in the grass when the return is 2 spaces away. Also a great moral test. The shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task, and one which we all recognize as the correct, appropriate thing to do. To return the shopping cart is objectively right. There are no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Simultaneously, it is not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as the apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning the shopping cart, no one will fine you, or kill you for not returning the shopping cart. You gain nothing by returning the shopping cart. You must return the shopping cart out of the goodness of your own heart. You must return the shopping cart because it is the right thing to do. Because it is correct. A person who is unable to do this is no better than an animal, an absolute savage who can only be made to do what is right by threatening them with a law and the force that stands behind it. Source Samim. You gain nothing by returning the shopping cart. You clearly don't shop at Aldi. It's a perfect amount too. You wouldn't bother if it were a nickel or dime, but a quarter? I'm not going to just let a quarter sit there when I can have it. Also, it's not an amount that you will miss if you let someone have your cart when you're done with it. Only a crazy person would just leave it without giving it away, or claiming the quarter by returning it. A crazy person. A quarter? In the UK it's a pound. That's $1.32 used. No one is leaving a pound in a trolley. Lucky us, the quarter is our biggest common use coin. Touch screens in cars make them worse in many ways. Ducking, thank you. Looking at, reading, processing, and touching touchscreen buttons comes directly at the expense of looking at the road. Meanwhile, you can feel your way across physical buttons and knobs without compromising your safety or that of others on the road around you. Not only can you feel where they are, you can register whether your input actually worked. Touch screens give no tactile feedback, so sometimes the screen may not register the touch and over time we end up having to visually confirm it. It's couldn't care less and not could care less. This shouldn't even be a question, but you'd be surprised how many people are willing to die on the could care less hill. Greedo never even shot his blaster in the theatrical release of Star Wars. Han wasted that sucker before he even had the chance to pull the trigger. Hashtag that's no small hill, it's a space station. Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip are not interchangeable, they are drastically different. Wait, from my understanding, isn't Miracle Whip sweet and mayonnaise is not sweet? Do some people think they're interchangeable? Polycarbonate water bottles don't contain any dangerous amount of PA. It's a marketing ploy by 3 meters Eastman to force people to use lower life cycle plastics. Triton cracks at 2 years old, and polycarbonate lasts at least 20 years. They know polycarbonate is safe because we haven't stopped using it in high-impact kitchen appliances like food processors and blenders. They created a shittier plastic that hurts the environment to make more money. Cheap canned goods are literally lined with PA. Polycarbonate bottles have duck all to do with humans' PA exposure. If you own a polycarbonate water bottle, keep using it. It has no PA on it after the first time you wash it. Source: MS Mechanical Engineering focused in polymers. One of my profs posted a few papers on this. Edit: this PDF link is the paper if anyone is wondering. It found negligible amounts of PA compared to canned goods after holding polycarbonate water bottles full of water at 120 C for 2 hours. Which would never happen in a real-world situation. I'm not sure what polycarbonate is, or what PA is, but as a child I was told not to reuse Coke bottles as water bottles as the plastic breaks down and makes them carcinogenic. Is that true or bollocks? Sorry, just want to nick a bit of your knowledge quickly. Totally false. The first use is going to have the most phthalates. The paper I linked is 50% about peat, which is what Coke bottles are made from. You can reuse them until they fall apart with lower health risk than drinking the initial fluid in them. Same goes for bottled water. It's part of the marketing to get you to buy more. Edit: the recycling arrow circly thing shows you what plastic of the big 6 it is. If it is a 1 inside the arrows, it's peat. The one to be scared of is the 6, which is polystyrene and is very bad to be used as a food or water carrying device. Still PA free though, lol. This never made sense to me because the bottle was probably already created and used to stock the water for multiple days, weeks before I bought it, so why does it suddenly become toxic and cancer-inducing in 2 days when I drink?